And welcome back, everybody, to episode 204 of Two Goalies, One Mic, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer. Let them know Two Goalies, One Mic sent you. I am your host, Duane, joined by my co-host, Connor Hurley. It has been 2 weeks since we've talked to you. The Devin Levi interview, which went really well, even though it was shorter than we expected. Thought it went very well, Earls. Hoping to have him on again here soon. He has agreed to come on again. Kid's studying to finish his degree, so he had told me he has a paper due that he had to grind out, and then he'll hop on again with us. So looking forward to part 2 of the Devin Levi interview whenever that does come. And some good news if you're a Sabres fan today, and looking forward to the Olympics, and some bad news if you're attending an event tonight at the Bank Center, as apparently it is sinking. Hurls, though, before we get to that, how was your week off?
It's good. I am actually headed to Buffalo tomorrow night. I'll be home for about a week and a half, off and on. I'll be in New York City and whatnot. Oh, there's my cat making a guest appearance in the background. Shout out Kate Bishop. I named her after Haley Steinfeld's character in the Marvel series Hawkeye, actually.
You would.
So shout out Kate Bishop. But yeah, I'll be home tomorrow night, coming home for my best friend Jeff Wisniewski's wedding, actually. And I am the co-best man in the wedding. So that'll be really cool. It's down at Knox Farms in East Aurora. But I'll be playing some golf, going to some wing spots, hopefully meeting up with you at some point while I'm home. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Hopefully, KeyBank Center will still be standing when I get back.
Yeah, I and I didn't know you could do that. Co-best men. That's interesting.
Yeah, he just he's a pretty indecisive guy, so he couldn't decide between us. So we're gonna know. I think it's cool because the three of us have all been really, really good friends for a really long time, and a bunch of our buddies are in the wedding party, and we were all in Vegas for the bachelor party. So it's gonna be really cool, and super, super thankful to be able to get home for it, and really excited. So should be a good time.
Yeah. Looking forward to hanging out with you. Hopefully we can get together, get some wings. That's some of your favorite. Where's the first place you're going when you get to Buffalo?
Well, I need to go to the Galleria to get new shoes for the rehearsal dinner. So while I'm near the Galleria, I do think I am going to go to the Duffs on Dick Road in Cheektowaga. The first day I'm back, because first day I'm back, I have to get wings. I think on Friday alone, I'm playing golf in East Aurora. Going to go to Barbell after that, the original. And then later in the day, I think I'm going to go to 9/11 Tavern in South Buffalo, which I think we mentioned it when we had Pat Moran on. It is known as the best classic Buffalo style medium or hot wing. It's the best I've had. Mm-hmm. And I have a special affinity for South Buffalo being Irish. I also played for Cavs for a year. So I love 9/11 specifically. It's the best that I've had. And then in North Buffalo, if people haven't tried it, Kelly's Corner is specifically.
I've been there.
Very, very good.
Very good.
They have a hot wing that is a little bit different than your normal Buffalo style. And then their mediums are just off the charts. So really cool salt of the earth type place. But I would say Barbell, 9/11, and Kelly's Corner are top of the pyramid for me.
I've been to Kelly's Corner. Fantastic food there.
Great place to watch the game too. Just a bunch of regulars in there. It's sometimes hard to get a table, which I wouldn't have it any other way for a bar in my home neighborhood. But really, really cool place. So if you haven't made your way over there, definitely check it out. I think they would appreciate the business.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, excited to see what's to come, when you're here. Obviously, I hope you have a great time at the wedding. Wish I could join you for a round of golf, but obviously that's out of the question. Yeah, super happy to have you back in Buffalo, and maybe even get do a live podcast.
And I forgot the most important part, especially from this goalie perspective. I am picking up my new set of pads on Thursday.
Oh, from Simmons, right?
At Simmons in North Buffalo on Great Arrow. Basically, almost as soon as I land. I've been communicating with them for the past month on exactly what I want. I'll do a big reveal on my Twitter of what the set is going to be and what it was inspired by. Maybe we could do something on our Twitter account,
that would be dope.
Our X accounts and our Instagram accounts. But it's a very, very cool retro inspired Kings type setup out here because I'm still waiting to hear about the e-bug thing. As each day passes, I'm wondering if it's going to happen or not, but you never know. Either way, I needed new pads, and the guys at Simmons did one of the coolest setups I've ever seen in my life. I'm also getting my helmet painted as we speak, and I'm picking that up tomorrow. So it's going to be unbelievable. And
where did you go to get your helmet painted?
A guy out here, actually. I just looked up goalie mask painting in LA, and he's done a few different pro goalies. He's done a couple different e-bugs out here, actually. And I just dropped it off over the weekend, and he's giving me an all chrome goalie mask to match my cage, and then in the future I might get a design on it. But as of now, it's going to be all chrome to match my my pad and gloves. So I'm super stoked.
That's sick. I've always wanted to get like a helmet painted, personally, just because it's so many like creative ideas, some stuff like paying homage to my mom, cool personal stuff like that. But again, one last question, like why Simmons? Is it more of like, a local brand here in Buffalo, you support it? Or is it just like for you at least, that brand, the Simmons brand just really they set themselves apart from other brands that maybe you've used in the past?
Well, so yeah, I mean, the only other pair of pads that I've had were Reebok back in high school. I had the classic cylindrical type setup that I think everybody would recognize from a few different goalies in the past. But I've been going to Simmons since I was a young kid just to get goalie equipment. They had the store, I don't know if you remember, in Fort Erie. They had that big showroom up there that me and my dad always used to cross the Peace Bridge, get off at the first exit, and go to Simmons. And it was always something I really looked forward to. So I've been going to Simmons for a long time. I've had a few different pads here and there, but for the past 12 years, ever since college at Syracuse, I've had a set of Simmons pads, glove and blocker, that have lasted me this long. They're extremely durable. They actually are molded in the Vaughn school of goalie pad and equipment making. A guy from Vaughn left and then started Simmons, and then I
remember hearing that story. Yeah, so like, you're getting the best of Vaughn. I mean, they may not have the
exactly,
you know what I mean? Like,
but it's the highest quality equipment you could possibly imagine. I have never had an issue. They've always done repairs for me. For the past couple of years, I've gotten my glove, blocker, and pads repaired at their new showroom in North Buffalo. And every single time they could have been annoyed about it and just been like, oh, get a new set of pads. But I wanted to hold out a little bit longer, and then I finally bit the bullet and got the new set. But no, they're the best. And if any goalies in the area are interested in a custom set or even just like their generic colors to save a little bit of money, it is the highest quality you could possibly imagine. And the guys are really, really cool guys. They've worked with me throughout the entire process, and they've got a really cool, we'll tag them when we post my new set, but Simmons Hockey on Instagram, and highly, highly recommend. I've been using them for years and they're unbelievable.
That's sick. You don't see a lot of Simmons pads around like Buffalo anymore, surprisingly enough. Like, I mean, I think I'm around the rinks enough to notice it, but like that was a brand that like it was around so much between Holiday, Leisure, DePew, was predating like the Harbor Center. They were so around so much that you thought like, shit, man, this must be like a brand that they use in the NHL, because at least locally you saw so many goalies wearing Simmons. They were legit. I'm not saying they're not legit anymore, but back then, man, I always thought like they were like at the level of like Bauer and whatnot.
No, it is super, and I cannot stress it enough. Like every time I wear my pad, somebody makes a comment that they've heard of Simmons, even out here, and they know what the reputation is, and they know how much time and effort that they put into it. A guy on my team out here is actually from Lancaster, but he's good friends with the head designer there, and they've treated me unbelievably well. And I'm so happy that these will probably be pads that I'll have likely for the rest of my life, given that I won't be playing that much into my 40s. I'll still be playing as much as I possibly can, but I'm super happy that I went with this for what looks like probably will be the final set of my career. And it is really, really cool. Even the design process, going through like the inspiration of what I did and all of the details and everything involved. And yeah, they are the best of the best in the area. And I would say in the goalie market as well, right up there with Bauer, True, and Vaughn as well. So if anybody's interested, check them out.
Yeah, we'll definitely steer. We know we got a lot of goalies that do watch this podcast, and definitely steer them towards like a good decision in Simmons locally.
Save some money
locally.
too compared to the other big brands.
Oh
You
yeah,
definitely save
especially
some money.
listen,
And you have that personal touch as well. It's really cool.
listen, it's not like we're at the point in our careers like where I'm not trying to say bad about myself or you, but we're playing like what once, twice a week.
Twice a week at most for me, but
and like again, this is I've never worn Simmons. I know a lot of people have worn Simmons. Like, I'm not sure how it holds up for like a full season, like when you're playing like competitively like full time. But if you're a goalie like me or you, who again, quality product, quality designs,
the best testament is that my current set lasted 14 years. Like that's the best
there
thing.
You go. Yeah.
And
exactly.
And if there were any repairs, I could just bring them by. My parents are from North Buffalo, so that's easy for me. But they were amazing at fixing any straps. They had to replace the webbing on my glove a couple times, but that was super easy. And they sharpen your skates for you too, so it's a good place to get all that done. Even if you're like taking your goalie skates to pure hockey or great skate. If you're a goalie, I would take them to Simmons because they know exactly how to sharpen goalie skates, and they'll even tell you if there are nicks in the blade or they're I forget the exact terminology, but they told me that my blade was kind of messed up by a recent sharpening and they recommended a new blade and everything related to it. So it's the best of the best, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I currently wear a pair of Warriors, which I like a lot. The rebound control is pretty awesome. But now that you've been talking about it, I wouldn't put it against bet against it that my next set of pads, if I do need them, because for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the way I go down on my butterfly, if I go down too hard, but like I always wear out the knees pretty quickly with pads, like within the first 5 years, like to the point where you got to repair them yourself. So
no, I never. I mean, I wouldn't say I play stand up. I never had issue with the inside of the pad, the leg channel whatsoever. It was always just like exterior stuff like straps and the string at the bottom, which they switched to elastic. So I don't use like a hockey skate anymore. I use an elastic, and then there's a Velcro situation that you put over your skate, and that gives you your toe so much more freedom of movement. And it's actually allowed me to make saves that I previously didn't make. And it's also way easier on your hips as well. So another thing that a lot of like modern goalie pads are doing that they also do. And it just shows you that they're at the forefront of the industry. And these are goalies themselves that have grown up playing, and they know exactly what works for goalies that are still playing. So yeah, I would check it out. If they have a really great website, really cool Instagram where hopefully my set will be up on there as well. And definitely check it out.
For sure. I guess I'm getting yelled at. I'm like in a dynasty fantasy football league where, you're drafting the rookie class now and whoever might be available. And I guess I'm getting like yelled at because like they have like an 8-hour clock, but that's not, I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll make one of my draft picks live. I'll cue it over to you on who to pick, because I don't know anything about.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah. I did pick. I had the fourth pick of the draft. I picked Travis Hunter.
That's solid value, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so stacked at wide receiver too. Not to make this about fantasy football, but I got Marvin Harrison Jr., Nico Collins, Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice, Cooper Kupp. Now I have Travis Hunter, and I'm pretty sure that's not even like it. I have, hold on, Cooper Kupp, George Kittle. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, Roma Dunze. I'm so stacked that I'm probably going to end up trading one or two of those guys to try and get better either at quarterback or running back. But let's get away from that. Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch both picked to attend the USA Hockey Olympic Orientation Camp. This is a big deal because we always knew Tage was a shoe, and we weren't too sure about Alex Tuch. But I think given the reasons why Tage was passed over for Four Nations, like being better defensively, being more responsible in all areas of the ice, being a little bit more physical, I mean, how can you honestly, given that criteria for why Tage missed over guys like Brock Nelson, Chris Kreider, and who was the other guy from the Islanders? I'm sorry.
Vincent Trocheck, Brock
Vincent
Nelson,
Trocheck.
Chris Kreider, yeah.
Yeah, Trocheck, who looks like is that Trocheck or Brock Nelson? Looks like they're 65 in their US Hockey profile picture.
That's Brock Nelson.
That's a Brock Nelson, yeah. Given that criteria, I would assume that Alex Tuch has a good chance at making this team, in my opinion, at least, given the year he had last year.
Yeah, I'd say so, especially the type of game that he plays with all the block shots he had last year, the shorthanded points, the physicality, and then also producing offensively. I think he's the exact type of player that they would want on their third and fourth line. Of course, we're a little bit biased, and there's obviously a lot of really, really good candidates. You might have to leave somebody like Matt Boldy or Clayton Keller off the team to put Alex Tuch on the team, but they also play different types of games. Obviously, Boldy's a little bit closer, and Boldy's really good. He could probably make the team alongside Tuch. But yeah, they would really have to commit to having that element on their roster. And if he continues this into the fall leading up to the Olympics and he goes on another tear in the way that he was, I even mentioned it a couple times. I had him on my fantasy hockey team last year, and he was like the number 12th ranked player in all of fantasy hockey, which says a lot because he's accumulating points in different ways, and that translates to the ice in the same way that analytics does. He's strong defensively, really good offensively, clearly a locker room guy and a team leader, and somebody you would want representing the United States of America in the biggest international hockey tournament. And I guess this would be 12 years since Sochi.
Yep.
So yeah, he seems like the exact type of guy that we would want. Of course, we know a little bit more about him. We have a soft spot in our hearts for him, but just looking at it objectively, the fact that he was invited and he had as good of a year as he did last year, if he continues this in the first 3 or 4 months of the season, I think there's a very good chance he could slot into that third and fourth line.
I agree. He's like the selection process, I feel, for the Olympics for rightfully so is going to be like a lot more in depth than it was for Four Nations, because Four Nations was kind of not thrown together because it turned out so well. It was like that was the best possible result for the NHL, the way Four Nations went, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great tournament, and especially leading up to the Olympics, giving people an idea of what best on best hockey looks like and giving a preview of what the Olympics theoretically could be, especially adding some really good other hockey nations. In February, what will look like probably Germany. There's Czechia. There's Switzerland, who's been pretty good recently. Obviously,
Russia isn't invited, right? They're not allowed to play.
Of course, we will not get Russia for obvious reasons. If you go to Dominic Hatchick's Twitter page, he'll tell you all about it. But yeah, it's obviously not including one of the best hockey nations, but it is what it is at this point. The Olympics, not just for hockey as a whole, although they have included unincorporated like Olympic athletes from Russia. You know what I mean?
I remember that's what I was going to ask. Remember that one team that Russia didn't have? They didn't play with their flag.
So like individual events, there have been like unincorporated athletes from Russia. I'm wondering if they would do that for an entire team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's TBD, but likely Russia will not be involved.
Yeah. I mean, again, I would love, because I mean, you know how passionate a guy like Alex Ovechkin is about the Olympics. So I guess that if he's not going to be allowed to play, it's kind of like, tragic for him, right? Like the opportunity to play for an Olympic medal. But again, with what's going on in the world, I mean, I took a lot of flack. I think you retweeted the same thing I did. With a hashtag quote tweet. Like, I took some heat,
Thankfully, I didn't take much heat for it, because if you're on the side of Russia, no matter what, whatever politics you support in the United States, if you're on the side of Vladimir Putin, I don't want to talk.
It's insanity.
I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm not to make go on some political rant, but like, if you actually think that a country who doesn't allow independent media, where they control the narrative, like somebody in my thread was like, oh, it's a fact that 86% of Russian people are happy.
No, what? Do you know that for sure?
Yeah, are you for sure? Because I can name a list of people, independent journalists and people who have spoken out about that government, who have either been locked up or killed or tortured. And that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
look
yeah,
at
I'd be afraid to see-
look at Brittany Griner
Yeah.
just a couple years ago. Like,
Yeah, regardless of how you feel about Brittany Griner and her politics, look what happened to her. You know what I mean? Like she
for what was it? Weed?
Yeah,
I think it was
exactly.
Yeah.
It's what it was. It was.
I mean,
I think it was a pen.
With Putin's best friend, we're trending towards non-independent controlled media as well.
Yeah.
So I just
which is wrong.
we've got the National Guard in LA and DC for no reason whatsoever. So
no one whatsoever.
We should tread lightly. We should tread very lightly here.
Yeah, someone might beat down our door. Again, not to make this political. We're done with that. Try to avoid politics like the plague, but it just kind of came up. Anyways, yeah, listen, I would love to see the best athletes from that part of the world in this tournament, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But this is possibly the best chance the USA has to win a gold medal since that year with Ryan Miller, where you put the team on his back. You know what I mean? Like I know it wasn't that long ago, but when was the last time before that?
Well, yeah, I mean, since 2010 and 2014, they didn't perform super well. Aside from that, obviously, really, really great TJ Oshie game. But yeah, no, it is the best chance. Obviously, Canada's the favorite. They'll be the favorite until they don't win one of these things. I think they're not a heavy favorite, given that the U.S. has closed the gap a significant amount, but they are the clear-cut favorite. And I think that really comes down to the fact that Jordan Binnington, for as inconsistent and unconvincing as he's been in the regular season with the Blues, he's a big game goalie, and he's proven that.
We can't deny it.
He's proven it throughout his career, not only in the playoffs, but in international competition for Canada. He is a big game goalie, and he's the unquestioned starter of that team in the Olympics in February.
No doubt about it.
You add a big game goalie who you can trust in games like that to that roster. It almost feels unbeatable, but let's say they get the best goalie in the world to play like the best goalie in the world when the lights are brightest and Connor Hellebuyck, then that changes everything.
That's gonna be. I mean, I think it's Connor Hellebuck's spot to lose. We'll see.
Yeah,
how the season
but
goes,
if he slips up, Ottinger slots right in.
Ottinger, and don't sleep on Jeremy Swayman. I am kind of surprised that they didn't invite Thatcher Demko as the fourth goalie.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that today. I think likely related to his recent injuries, and I think this camp invitation doesn't necessarily mean that guy's not invited, won't make the roster. I think a lot of people were upset that Lane Hudson didn't get an invite.
But I understand it though. He's a sophomore player.
But if Jackson Lacombe got an invite, Lane Hudson theoretically should have gotten an invite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that blue line is so good.
No, I'm more so
spots out.
I'm more so saying, yeah, exactly. Like I tweeted out a roster earlier. There's 6 of the best defensemen in the world. Lane Hudson's not going to make the team. So you're going to be, and same with Thatcher Demko. He's probably, even if he makes the team, he's not getting games during the Olympics.
Yeah, unless there's a serious injury bug going on.
Yeah, which could change everything, right? But
yeah,
no, it's Hellebuck's net until he loses it, and then arguably you have the second best goalie in the world as the backup.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on from that, because there isn't really a lot to talk about right now. Do you have any thoughts before we move on to? I wanted to get into. We just had the FHL playoffs championship. At the Harbor Center. Do you have anything to you want to talk about specifically? Any news that you want to share? Just because
aside from the roof falling on people's heads at KeyBank Center, there's really nothing happened with the Sabres.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that first before we get into the FHL, because we do have an interview with 2 players who represented Team USA just 2 weeks ago at the U17 Four Nations tournament. It had Team USA, Slovakia, the Swiss, and I want to believe the Czechia, all there. And they came in second. They beat Czechia to get to the game, and then they played them again and lost. They actually came back from a 3-goal deficit in the game to get there, and then they lost to them the very next day or 2 days later. But our very Buffalo's very own Gerry DiCunzolo led the tournament in points with 8, including a hat trick. And Sawyer Schmidt, the youngest player in the tournament, I believe. I'm not sure if the tournament or just Team USA at 15 years old. Played a huge defensive role. Was one of their top defensive players, if not the best defensive player in the tournament. Only he had 1 point, but he was relied upon heavily by Coach Guerrero to fill in a PK role and a defensive role. The guy was soaking in a lot of shots, so he was a big piece of that team. And at only 15, which is crazy impressive, being called upon, but super cool for the city of Buffalo to have 2 players playing a tournament like that. And obviously Team USA won the Hlinka this past week, Hlinka Gretzky tournament. Team USA just had a really, really good year, right? World championships, our own Tage Thompson getting the golden goal. Team USA winning the gold at the Hlinka, obviously coming in second at the Four Nations. And now we're heading into, obviously a great showing at the Four Nations face-off, NHL Four Nations face-off, but also you're getting, possibly a team that's going to, compete for gold here at the Olympics.
Yeah. And I would say this all goes back to the U.S. National Development Program and all of the strides that is made. And however many years it's been a thing, it's at least 10, maybe more. A lot of guys in the NHL invited to this camp for the Olympics have all come out of the U.S. NDDP. I can't say that whenever I try to. But yeah, it really speaks to the commitment that USA Hockey has made to growing the game domestically and internationally in these competitions. And the level of competition is so much higher than it used to be. And getting these kids playing together from a young age, bringing them up through the system on the same teams, and then they go off to college, they go off to the pros, and then come back to these big tournaments. That adds a lot to the chemistry. And it's also something that I think a lot of people in Canada are trying to model Hockey Canada after. Obviously, they've had their fair share of controversies recently, but I think Hockey Canada has a lot to learn from the U.S. National Development Program. So, yeah, I hope it translates to the Olympics. Winning gold would it be the USA's men's hockey first Olympic gold? Probably, right? Oh, no, aside from not since
1980. I mean, what do you about to say? Where are you going with this?
Since 1980, yeah. Of course, I remember the most important sporting event of the 20th century. But, yeah, first time NHL players have won Olympic gold, correct?
Yeah.
So that would be a significant achievement. And I think, like you said, they have the best chance that they ever have. So we'll see what happens, and looking forward to see how that roster comes together.
Yep, I agree. I'm super, super excited just for the Olympics in general this year, especially after what we experienced at Four Nations. Like, obviously the NHL, NHL in part, right? I mean, it's not an NHL event, but like, it's a big, the bar has been set, put it that way. And the excitement that fans are going to be expecting on the Olympics. So, and bigger ice surface, fast players. I can't wait personally. Moving on, before we get to FHL and then obviously the interview, we joked about it at the start. Apparently down at KeyBank Center right now, the roof that Jeff Skinner built is currently crumbling and leaking. And I'm not sure what event they have going on down there right now, but there are massive leaks in the roof, and I'm going to bring it up here momentarily, but there's a lot of fan video circling around. There was a video that originated on Reddit that has since then been taken down. I'm going to pull that up right here. Bring it up and play it. But the roof is leaking at the KeyBank, as you can see.
Like, is it raining?
I mean, I don't know about downtown. It did rain today, and it has rained, I think, in the past 2 days. But still, that is not good for a roof that's not even a year old.
Wasn't the title of the YouTube video about the roof? Wasn't it, "This is how we win"?
I think so.
Yeah, or was that the Jumbotron? I'm confused.
Might have been the Jumbotron.
That was the meme everybody used. That's what the caption I tweeted when I just tweeted that video. So I hope I'm right.
Oh my God!
Either way.
And then we have.
But yeah, this is not a good luck.
We do have a second angle here.
Way worse. Way worse.
Which is way worse. You're right. I'm gonna pull that up. Sorry for the the dog's getting into it here in the background. But pull that up right now and play it for you all. Here we go. Can you see it?
Not at the moment, no.
Hold on. You share it. You share it to this thing here. All right. There we go. Pieces of the roof are falling.
And just like
right now.
The demonic screams.
Yeah, it's like legit Titanic is sinking.
And then there's also just people casually going up the escalator, which I also really love.
Like on it, again, I heard it was a Disney event, but that's terrifying. That is literally terrifying.
Theoretically, someone could have died, so thankfully that didn't happen. But is there a concert there tonight? Like, what's going on?
I'm not sure if it's a concert. I might be some type of Disney event. I think. I'm looking it up right now. But if somebody in the chat, for those who are watching, that's not
a Disney event.
Maybe a Disney event. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I don't know.
Roof. That's a burst pipe. All right. Well, I guess that's good, right?
Yeah, it could be a burst pipe.
It's better.
We're not plumbers. I'm not going to insinuate.
It's better than the roof that they just completely redid. Thankfully, everyone's going to assume that it's the roof because that's where our minds will go. But if it's a burst pipe, like that's better than the roof, but it's also concerning. To say the least.
But to your point, like I just don't think it's rained enough for that type of, again, a new roof, and secondly, to have that much water be leaking into the arena.
Yeah, it's definitely not normal. I would say it's extremely dangerous, and if it is a burst pipe, maybe they have to go in and look at all the pipes for however old this arena is. I think we've mentioned more than once, and when I say more than once, hundreds of times, that the arena needs renovations.
Okay.
It needs a makeover. It's a broken sprinkler head.
Or are they talking about when there's a fire? I'm assuming like when there's a fire.
Let's see this. Let's see this statement because I think that matters.
Yeah. And for all those who are down there, just be safe, right? First and foremost, be safe if that is going on down there at the arena. According to Northtown Scanner, it's a Disney event.
Okay.
We're not speculating. We weren't obviously the narrative when it first happened is sweet roof, it's leaking.
Okay. So we learned this evening from Buffalo Fire this was an apparent broken sprinkler head. No issues with the roof at the arena downtown. How could a broken sprinkler head like lead to that? I'm not an engineer. I'm not
Does 2 goalies on Mike need to get a plumber on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm not a plumber. I don't know. That seems like more than a broken sprinkler head, but
that's
again I'm coming from a place of ignorance. So
yeah, we're both. I
work in the media. I've never dealt with sprinkler heads in my life, and also even if it is for a place that hosts as many people as often as it does, the fact that this could even happen, somebody messed up, right?
Yeah,
and this should speak to the fact that this facility in general needs a very long, hard look at a total revamped renovation. Mm-hmm. Not just the seats, not just the Navy logos that are still there, not just the green floors and the cracked floors and the nacho cheese that Duane always mentions on the seat from 15 years ago. This is the pipes, this is the plumbing, this is everything, right? Mm-hmm. They're putting $2 billion into the stadium 10 miles down the road, not in the city of Buffalo. How about you show the fans that you actually care and put $200 million that you have into this arena? That'd be nice. Terry, thanks. There's my piece.
We got Daisy here. She wants all the attention. For those of you who haven't met her yet, little the wiener Daisy here.
2 animals on the pod tonight.
2 animals. Yep. And Dom is just That's what that you tore one of your toys to shreds. You ripped all its guts out. That's good. Can't wait to clean that up after I just vacuumed. But yeah, there's the other one. Yeah, we had FHL playoffs a little over a week ago. Super Mario, beat. And like I love the rules of FHL. I don't know if I should have brought it up before, but they have like their own like their rules that make themselves unique. We had Just Dishon come in to do some video work. I'm going to pull up some of the videos here momentarily before we get to the interview with actually two FHL players and reps, like I said earlier, reps of Team USA, Sawyer, Schmidt, Gerry, DiCunzolo. But just an outstanding season, and congrats to all those who played this year. The rules make the league really unique. Like at one point, Hurls, in the championship game, well, the rule is if you ice the puck, and I think it's like with 3 minutes or less left in like a close game, the team that instead of obviously there's a face-off in their end, but the other team gets a player on the ice until the next whistle. At one point in the championship game, which was only a 1-goal game, Super Mario won 8-7. It was 8-on-5.
Wow.
8-on-5, and it was insane. Like, and obviously, like that is a huge advantage. But when you have that many, we have 13 skaters on the ice, it really kind of limits the ability like to find open ice because it's obviously all taken up from goal line to blue line. And Super Mario Brothers really bared down and was able to get that win. They scored the go-ahead goal with like less than a minute, like right at the 1 minute mark. Shout out Ryan Burgess for coming out and doing the announcing with us. Yeah, it was a super, super fun event. I'm gonna pull up some highlights there. But do you guys have any leagues in LA kind of similar to this, or like the Beauty League, that like you guys have a lot of high-end players show up for summer hockey, where it's just where all the NHL players, AHL players locally, or D1 college junior players show up to play?
Yeah, I mean that's the Wednesday league that I play in. It's the top league. It's not as good as that. It's not like AHL or NHL quality. I think they hold their own skates. But all of the D1 players in the area, all the D3 players, all the guys that go overseas that play juniors, it's the Gold League in El Segundo at the Kings facility on Wednesday nights. It's the best league in the area, highest quality players, especially in the summer. Unfortunately, I'm missing the semifinals for my team tomorrow night. I got to fly home, of course, for a really good reason. But yeah, it's the best quality hockey in the area. It's not the same as the Beauty League or this per se, because there's not quite as many guys, obviously, in the LA area. But I would say the guys that are home for the summer that play NCAA Division I, Division III hockey all play in this league.
Yeah, it's in FHL. We like some of our alumni list is like crazy impressive. Darlene has played in this league. Gergensen's played in this league every single summer up until he was traded. Marcus Foligno, Paul Gostad, just a lot of those guys from those teams. I think Derek Roy might be an FHL alum. Just Alex Iafallo, Pat Kane. We thought Pat Kane was actually going to be there for playoffs. Because his cousin plays for one of the teams, and we for about a few days, we were convinced that Pat Kane was showing up. A Quentin Musty plays. It was just a great turnout all year. And I'm going to post a video. I wanted to announce today, but I'm trying to get a hold of Nick just to kind of finalize MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Goalie of the Year. I will say this. I will say League MVP is Walter Zacher. Rookie and goaltender of the year, that's still left to be determined. But Walter Zacher had an incredible season. I think he had 15, 16 goals. Had the game-winning goal for Super Mario Brothers in the championship game. I think he had like 4 or 5 goals total in playoffs. So, a couple clicks for him to Walter Zacher for winning MVP. And I will make to make it official for Rookie of the Year and Goalie of the Year once I have that conversation with Nick. Hopefully here tomorrow we'll release a video of all the end season awards. So super cool. They got the championship belts, they got the trophy. and I'm super excited for what's to come next year, given what we did this year for the first time, lessons we learned. But I'm going to pull up right here some of the highlights. If you can see that. All right. This is from the championship game. Good stuff. Walter right there, I believe. You got two. Colby and Misty there with an absolute snipe, top corner. And then one last video I do want to show, and then we're going to cut it over to the interviews with Sawyer and Gerry here. One last video from one of my favorite games of the tournament. It was a tight game, good goalie battle between Alex Kamara and Connor Hasley. Both played D1, but I'm going to pull that up right here. Again, I'm not the greatest at this. I wish I could just upload these videos all together, but here we go. Boom, there we go. Share screen. This was the game-winning goal from a good friend of the program, Ryan Wheeler. Went top shelf in overtime, 3-on-3 overtime to win the game. Let's see here. Obviously no sound to it. They give the wide angle. Actually, no. This is the original angle. But let me put. Oh, here we go. Here's the wide angle. Love it. That's Cage Flory, plays for the Little Caesars team. And then Ryan Wheeler plays for Utica, the Devils AHL affiliate. UConn, Pat Polino, Rochester Amherst alumni. I forget where he's playing this coming season. I think he's playing the ECHL in the Coast League. But just a great season altogether. And I'm really looking forward to next year. And unfortunately, I felt bad for Fusion Frenzy in that game, in the championship game, because they were missing some of their best players, guys that play in Europe, Nick Hutchinson, Dylan McLaughlin. They were missing Ryan Werner, who was possibly, he's in contention for Rookie of the Year, and was right up there in scoring. So just a great fun year, and I can't wait to be a part of it next year again too. So, and I'm gonna cut things off here. We're gonna cut to the interview with myself, Sawyer Schmidt, and Gerry DiCunzolo. Two great kids, very mature for their age. I know Gerry is going to be competing for a spot for Team USA, hopefully in the Hlinka next year. If they do this Four Nations tournament again, I'm assuming that Sawyer, will be in contention to make that team again, if not the Hlinka. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye on these two guys, Buffalo-born players, Gerry DiCunzolo and Sawyer Schmidt, on the experience of playing for Team USA 2 weeks ago in the Four Nations tournament. Until next week, as always, go Sabres. Welcome back, everybody, to Two Goalies, One Mic, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 6 different Western New York locations. And if you happen to be in Ohio or Rochester, we're located there too. So if you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer. Let them know Two Goalies, One Mic sent you. I am joined here with two of USA Hockey's growing stars in USA Hockey, Gerry DiCunzolo and Sawyer Schmidt. Future FHL legends for sure, I think, right? And I know you guys skipped out on playoffs to go represent Team USA. Not a big deal, but appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No. So I guess the first thing I want to ask you guys is what was the process like to get selected to that team for the for U17 Four Nations? Did you guys have to go to any camps? Was it more or less you were part of like a select, like, just them on the outside looking at your guys' season? I know you played with Shattuck St. Mary's, I believe, Gerry, and Sawyer, you played with Junior Sabres.
Yeah.
Correct. So what was that selection process like? Obviously, and what was the reaction when you found out that you guys were going, to Michigan?
I think they watched us a lot during the season. And then obviously we went to national camp, the 16s festival. And then from that, after the first 5 games, there were 2 teams picked for the All-Star game. And then after the All-Star game, we found out if we made the team or not. And I think I was pretty stoked and honored to be selected. And I'm sure Sawyer could speak to that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely going to being both of our second year at the national camp, it was, we knew a little bit about what was going on, but it was different because we were actually trying to make a team this year. Obviously, we wanted to put our best impressions the first year too, but this year was a very big deal for us. So, just putting our best performance out there and just hoping for the best, and it ended up good for both of us. So, yeah, just very honored to be played in the Four Nations.
And you were the youngest player, I believe, on the roster, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you're what, 15?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. I mean, I know you guys obviously both played different roles on the team, but again, just a extreme honor to be a part of that squad. And Team USA just this past calendar year, obviously they just won gold in the Holinka. You guys made it to the gold game at Four Nations. Obviously, at World Championships, Team USA won World Championships. I think it was the first. It was something crazy. You wouldn't really believe it until you heard it, but it was the first time they won the World Championships in over 80 years or something crazy like that. Obviously, game-winning goal. The golden goal is scored by Tage Thompson here from the Sabres. But just being able to represent that. I mean, I loved your guys' jerseys this year, but I'm kind of a big fan of the logo that Sawyer's wearing right there. It kind of takes me back to when I was your guys' age, back when Pat LaFontaine was representing Team USA back at I think one of the very original World Cup of Hockey tournament, which was electric. I think, Team USA won then. That's always been one of my favorite sweaters, but still, just that whole tournament. I mean, you guys played, what was it? The Czech, Slovakia, and with Sweden. Was Sweden in there?
Switzerland.
No, Switzerland.
Switzerland. Yep. I'll start with you, Gerry. Obviously, I don't know if you were expecting to lead the whole tournament in points. You've had some great chemistry with Ethan Sung. What was that like? Obviously hearing Freebird that many times after you scored for Team USA, but were you surprised at how well you were, how quick you were out of the gate there and the chemistry you guys had? Have you had experience with Ethan before this? Because I mean, it was undeniable. You guys looked great together.
Yeah, I think just playing on the line with Colin Grubb and Ethan Sung, two friends who I went with to Shattuck for the last 2 years, and I think getting to play with them at school both years was awesome. It obviously helps to have that type of chemistry going in a short tournament, but I would just say we had always bonded together at school and played together, and we knew what all 3 of us could contribute to each other, and I think that we were just able to gel, and we found success on the ice, and so it was the right timing for sure to be able to have some puck luck, but also just meshing well with them, like I said.
And did you have to kind of transition anything out of your game you normally play to kind of mesh with him? Obviously, you said you've had a lot of experience playing at Shattuck with him before this, but your coach, I believe it was Guerrero. Is it Guerrero? Is his last name?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there any certain role he wanted to play that you maybe weren't used to? I'm not, again, a new different coach that you're probably used to. What type of role were you asked to play that, how did it end up working so well outside of what you just stated?
I think Coach Guerrero, he harped a lot the whole tournament on just trusting the process and how everyone's there to play hockey and learn and grow off each other. And I think just like I said, having that experience before playing with each other we were just able to like make the right plays. We knew where each other were at all times, and yeah, it was a fun experience for sure.
Yeah, it like I said, it was undeniable. You were like all over the front of the net too. Like I said,
Yeah.
I had a little. Let me see if I could bring it up on Twitter here in a minute. Some of your highlights, but you were all over the blue paint, just kind of getting into the dirty areas, and like he just would find you pretty much he always just knew where you were.
Yeah, Sunger and Grubber, both of them are two of the best players in the country. So I mean, playing with them, you can't really go wrong. And
Sawyer, not like I said to sell you short, but you had a fantastic tournament too. Like I watched every single game, and I thought you looked great defensively. What was the role that Coach Guerrero like asked of you coming into this?
So what he asked of me is to play a PK role on the team of like when someone in the box, just making sure 30 seconds, a couple block shots, then puck down in the other end, and just he also set the role of my line of Mark Pape and Logan Anderson of starting every single game and getting the energy for the boys and setting the standard. And what Coach Guerrero harped upon, like Gerry said, obviously he said that it's like a good standard for our team is winning the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes is what he said a lot to us. And what it made for me and my line mates like personal to go out there, win our first shift, and set the tone for everyone else.
I think we're I got all of that. Okay, there you're back again. You were frozen there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Like it was very prevalent in your game. You were definitely soaking in a lot of pucks. You played great defensively. I think that's what stood out to me the most is how aware you were of everything around you. You really filled in those gaps. And you just looked really responsible, especially for a younger guy in such a big role. Like I thought you looked great. The assist you had on Logan Anderson's goal, beautiful centering pass to get it over to him. So I tried as hard as I could to find that highlight. The guy who was covering you guys via Team USA. I mean, I don't think he really got much from that game. It was against the 7-5 win against Switzerland, I believe, right?
Slovakia.
Yeah, Slovakia. Sorry. It's a beautiful centering pass over to Anderson. I thought you were possibly one of the best defensive players in the entire tournament. And like I said, I watched every single game, and that definitely stood out the most to me and you. Stood out the most to me in regards to you. I guess my next question too, piggybacking off that, is what's next for you guys? Obviously, I mean, are you guys plan on going back to? Haven't really caught up. We just had FHL playoffs and kind of like off the internet a little bit. But what is next for you two?
Sawyer, you could go first if you want.
Okay. So next year I will be playing in the Junior Sabres OJ team. So I still have to go to Saginaw for their main camp and see how that goes. But I'll end up on the OJ team for this year, and then hopefully I can have a good year, see how that goes, and end up playing in Lincoln or Saginaw and see what happens there. So yeah.
And then for me, next year I'll be going to the Peterborough Petes in the OHL. And then obviously next summer for both of us, the goal would be to make the Holinka team that just won and try to make that team and help them go back to back.
Normally that would be the right answer, but the right answer here on this podcast is really getting prepared for next season's FHL season. So you're both and like I said, we just had playoffs, and I forget which team you played for, Gerry. I know Sawyer, you played for Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Which team were you on, Gerry?
I was on GTA 3.
GTA. Oh, you guys.
Yeah.
But you guys were a really young team. Like I didn't really I felt like a good majority of your team. You guys had Hayden Ellis. I think you had Ray. You guys had a really, really young team. So we're honestly, I think, easily the youngest squad of all of FHL. And then on top of that, between all the other teams, I think most of those teams are made up of a lot of guys who are playing pro over in Europe. I liked a lot what I see when you guys did play together as a team. Obviously, they definitely could have used you in playoffs for sure. They were really shorthanded, I believe. And then Sawyer too. I definitely think I had my money on Donkey Kong if you were there, winning the whole thing. But you guys were pretty shorthanded as well. But I mean, this is both your first time playing at, not at that level. Obviously, you guys were just in Four Nations, but in terms of FHL, like what was, did you guys have a lot of fun? Did you like the rules? I'm a big fan of the rules, especially when you ice the puck in the last 3 minutes of a game. I don't know if you guys got to experience that at all. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
During playoffs, we had 8-on-5 at one point.
Gee. That's insane.
It was crazy. I love those rules. Big fan of it. Actually, I think 8-on-5. It might have. Yeah, it was the championship game. It was Fusion versus Super Mario.
I assume the team that had 8 won the game.
No, they didn't.
Really?
Super Mario buckled down. They couldn't find the back of the net. They really just.
Wow.
I mean, honestly though, like when you have 13 skaters on the ice, and there's not a lot of it takes away a lot of
that makes sense.
around. And then Lawton Zacher, goaltender, Northeastern, just signed with Northeastern. He played fantastic for them. Even though it was a more high scoring game, he played great. But did you guys have a lot of fun playing FHL this year? Obviously, probably experiencing that level of competition for the first time. Playing against guys that play in the AHL. A few guys might have had a cup of coffee in the show. Guys were playing over in Europe, and then obviously D1 and D3.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was only there for like 2 or 3 games, but for the games I was there for, it was a lot of fun. Just like, obviously, like you said, we had a super young team. So being around like the Bolton brothers, the Ellis brothers, and those guys was super fun.
That must have been a fun locker room.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
That must have been a fun locker room.
Obviously, when we're losing every week, it's not fun, but it's just being around a great group of guys made it enjoyable.
If you're a goal for your goaltender too, Cameron, I'm good friends with his father, Mike. Just great learning experience for all of you at that age, like playing against that level of competition. And we're looking forward to next season too. Did you have fun, Sawyer? Like, what did you take away from it? Playing against, again, higher level competition, much older competition, and are you excited for next year?
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for next year, especially because I thought our team was gonna take it home this year because our team was really loaded, and I thought we were gonna win. But we were shorthanded a lot of guys. We probably had like 8 forwards and like 4 or 5 D. But if you look our lineup on paper, like it's stacked. Everybody's playing in juniors, and they're all playing at high levels, and playing with them makes you want to push the pace for yourself and just keep up with those guys. And just playing with them makes their standard set for you, and just like in how you want to play. And I'm really excited for next year, and we're gonna try and win it.
I actually got your roster here too. I know you guys are switching off different goalies every other week with Cameron Kuntz. I'm not sure the other goalie was. You had Carter Butcher, Connor Pelk, Danny Bacco. Danny Bacco used to play for NU. Declan McDonald, also very, very good hockey player. Jacob Reeves, Jared Mangin, Liam Lisikowski, Matt DeSpirit, Belavacqua, Mitch DeSpirit, Muldowney. Niles Benson was filthy, by the way. That kid's shot is incredible.
He's nasty.
He's so hot. I forget where he played. Or where
last year he played in Green Bay, the Gamblers.
Green Bay, the Gamblers, right? The Gamblers.
He's playing in Muskegon this year.
Oh, okay. All right. And then they have that, that kid who skips playoffs, Sawyer Schmidt. And Gerry, like I said, a very young team. A lot of guys. I'm not sure many of those guys you've played with before, but got a great learning experience too. It's like I think that's one of the things that Mike said was, obviously season didn't go out as planned. You didn't win as many games as you would have liked, but playing against that type of competition, that fast pace of summer hockey. I love summer hockey too. It's like some of the best times I've ever had is playing hockey in the summer. Just pick up with friends and just playing in summer leagues like this. I mean, I didn't play nearly at the level you guys did. I was a scrub, but I was, I wish But it was always a good time playing summer hockey with friends, growing up. I was actually playing in men's leagues at like 15 years old because you always needed a goalie. So, yeah, no, that's pretty much it I got for you guys. Super stoked that you guys were able to come on. Just if there's one thing you feel that you took away from Four Nations, that you're going to carry over to game, something maybe, what was your biggest challenge while you guys were there? And what's one lesson you took away from playing in a tournament like that, and something that when you walk away from this going into next year, that's going to prepare you to make that team again and possibly push to be, like you said, make the Hlinka. I know Sawyer, you said you're 15, so you might, you could see yourself on this team again next year. Gerry, you said you're going to push to make the Hlinka. I hope you do too, Sawyer. But like, what's one lesson you guys took away from playing in a tournament like this, on a stage like that?
I would just say it's like a challenge that personally had, and I would like say like for our whole team was overcoming some adversity. Like obviously when we beat the Czechs the first time, we were down 3-0 at one point, and I think just overcoming adversity. We had a really super close knit group, and I think just we were able to all buy into what the coaches say and put our best foot forward. And then that's definitely something I'll take away. And then another thing is just like the defensive habits and stuff like that, like sticks to the middle was something our coaches talked about, having good starts. Like Sawyer said earlier, I would just say are all things that I'll take over to my first season in the OHL. And I think that'll help me find some success there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that. And I would say some of the challenges I'd face is like going into new roles that I haven't really played like in the years before, but, adapting to what the team needs from me. But some challenges, like just if I went out there and I didn't have the shift that I wanted to, or I did something I didn't want to do, just going back next shift and resetting and trying to be better the next shift than I was before. Just shaking off whatever happened in the past and whatever happened before, and just trying to be better.
Love both those answers. While you guys were there, I know it's a really quick tournament. You probably don't get a ton of downtime, but did you guys go out as a group at any point, go out, have some fun, either be like leading into the tournament, after the tournament? I mean, did you guys, obviously team bonding, stuff like that, especially when you wear that crest, did you guys get to go out and, enjoy the area?
Yeah. So on our one off day that we had on the Thursday, I think it was, our whole team went out to a golf simulator nearby. Mm-hmm. We had some fun there. And then we all got there on July 31st. So like a week before the tournament started. So we all got to just like bond together in the hotel. There was a lot of Clash Royale being played. Amongst the team. And then we were allowed to use like all the NTDP's facilities. So like the cold tub, the sauna, and we had some fun in the cold tub, the sauna, just hanging out in the locker room, some games of sewer before the game. Like I said, our group was really close, and it was definitely awesome.
So go ahead, Sawyer. Sorry.
No, yeah. Just to piggyback off of what he said, we had a very close group. Like no one had anything on anyone. Like they thought they were better than anyone. Just everyone did their role and tried their best. And I got a funny story about the simulators. Our team leader, Colin, he actually gave us a little thing to Dave & Buster's before, like a little gift card. So we all thought we were going to go to Dave & Buster's. And then we showed up and we're at we're at a bunch of golf simulators. And we're like, what the heck, Colin? Where's Dave & Buster's? And he's like, oh, it's a sponsor of the tournament. We have to give this out. So, just funny little jokes like that. Just bonds us together like more of a group. And just to say what he said, we have a very tight group there. And it was just a lot of fun. The cold tub, the sauna, and the shooting rooms, like going there with buddies, shooting a ton of pucks, and then going back, resting, just playing a bunch of games and, creating friendships with people that, you wouldn't really see around the rink. Or maybe you would, but, you would just walk past them, but you don't really realize that unless you got to know them better.
Love it. That's a funny story. You mentioned sewer, Gerry. What's that?
It's just like a soccer game, like one touch soccer or two touch.
Oh, okay.
All the NHL teams play it before the game, and let's just say we were making up rules as we go.
Yeah. We never got to finish the game either.
Yeah, we never finished the game.
Whenever we play with a soccer ball back when I was your age, like we honestly lost it half the time or got it taken away. Something usually taken away. In hotels when I was your age, man, we didn't have video games, man. We played mini sticks.
Mm-hmm.
No mini stick? No mini
No,
stick?
I mean, no. Like that was like when we were like 8 and 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Like,
when we were doing state championships, even at like 14, 15 years old, we were playing mini sticks in hotel. Like, and we were ribbing each other too, playing pranks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like we tons of mini stick tournaments. I know it sounds like pathetic at that age, but we used to have a lot of fun with that. We didn't really have video games back then. I mean, we're talking between the years 2002 and 2006 is back when I was, playing, not at your level, but in your age bracket. But those were some great times, man. Just hanging out with the guys in the hotel room. My dad was like always kind of like the butt of everybody's jokes because he was like one of those parents that was like really overly passionate and really loud, but not in a bad way. He was always the guy that would try and start the chant, and everyone knew it was Mr. Steinel, and then everyone like kind of give that, and he would always do it at the worst times where nobody wanted to chant. Like he would always become the butt of the joke. And I remember States when I was a senior, he stood up on a chair in the middle of like the hospitality room and tried to give a big speech about how proud he was of everybody. And everyone again, my dad was just like an overly passionate. Everyone thought my father was like drinking, but he wasn't. And it became like my dad became like the butt of everybody's joke for like the next like couple of years whenever I'd see guys from the team. So your dad's still somewhere giving that long speech standing on a chair.
That's good though. You need parents like that.
Yeah.
It's better than the latter,
right?
Where you're getting yelled at, during games. My dad was never like that. He was just the overly passionate, start the wave type of dad. Start the wave at Holiday Twin Rinks. That's the way he was. But I appreciate you guys coming on. And like I said, hell of a season hell of a tournament from both of you. Hell of a, like I said, I got the, when I was researching, when I first found out that you guys were playing in that tournament, kind of looking at both of your careers up until this point and watching video and highlights, like just learning about the type of players you both are. Very, very, very humbled that you guys would come on the show. So just again, thank you for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Anytime you guys want to come on again, if that you guys both have time, and maybe next year, if you're both either playing, whether it's for Hlinka or it's for the Four Nations, again, would love to have you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot.
No problem. This has been Two Goalies, One Mic, joined by Sawyer, Schmidt, and Gerry DiCunzolo from Team USA after their great performance at the Four Nations tournament. We will talk to you guys next week. And as always, go Sabres.